Hi, this is Elliot Wavesage. I want to go ahead and do a market update. And like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. So got a little late start on the video tonight to get this out. So the market so far is behaving the way I would have expected it to. Um, so the SPY, as you can see here, the way I have this count, 1 2 1 2 1 2, so a lot of 1 2s, and that means it probably could be a pretty big move to the downside coming at any moment. uh, any moment. Every rally has failed. You know, if we go back to Fed Day here, and then we tried to pump here, failed, and we failed again. And you know, the Dow, they're all of these look the same way. And here on the Nasdaq, again, every time we come up, we fail and we fail. And these are our short areas. So today was a great opportunity to accumulate short positions for the eventual, I think, move lower. The market's behaving exactly as expected. What would be unexpected would be a rally higher, which still can't be ruled out. You first need to break, you know, 310, 4.2, and then 312, and so on. But the lower we go, the harder that will be for the market to do that. The bears are taking control of the market at this point. And like I said, if you look at the Nasdaq, it could have a pretty big move come into the downside. The Russell here, you have three waves. I believe you have to be careful. There's no divergence here. And really, even in this wave, I wouldn't call it an impulse 4 hours. So I would be really careful. It could be done and just the C leg is shallow, short, truncated. If not, then it could pull back and come up again into a bigger two. And then we'd have to relabel this. And a lot of people are calling a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they want to see like a massive rip higher. And anything is possible. If that were to happen, then the Dow would follow suit up into this area, and the SPY would more than likely, tech would probably lag or sell off. It'll be like a rotation back to cyclicals. And if that happens, then the SPY could probably come back up to 408 and break this high. So we have to keep an eye on all these things. But right now, this is kind of the look I have for the market. And then the futures, you know, nothing really going on in the futures. Again, if we look at where we are, looks like 5 down here, a connector of some kind. Probably a flat, more than likely. Some kind of flat correction there. And still 3 waves. 3 waves down. So could be a 1, 2. Well, let me see here. 1, 2. It looks like that could be a 5. We could put the 1 there. Maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think you have to put it here. And then if you look at where we are, there's A, B, and to me that's going to go higher. And then that should break that high. So I think the Dow is telling you more upside is coming from the futures. I would look for this area. It makes sense with oil moving higher and the technology selling off. There's probably a rotation. So it looks like to me Dow could go up, you know, for another, you know, 400 or 500 points. To finish this move, breaking this high would confirm it. It just seems likely because you've got 3, 3, and there's your connector. So something like that looks likely for the Dow. The ES, let's take a look. The ES here, 1, 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can put it there, and like an A, B, C. So really want to hold that level there. If we end up breaking that, then again 3. You would say 3, and then we would swing higher to retest this high. So as you can see, markets at a very it's at an inflection point. You want to call it that. It's got to make a decision. A big move is coming. Either way, I'm leaning toward the downside, and I'll explain why later. But I would say anyone like I've shorted here and here, you need to be able to leave those positions if it continues to move higher, because then it could come up into this area. And then the NASDAQ here, again 1, 2, 1, 2, and then here 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it's working on a 5 and then a higher, or it could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and again short. It's failed. NASDAQ's pretty weak. I think the NASDAQ looks likely to break down. And then the Russell, like the Dow, that does look like 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. And that looks like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more high, 5, with that, and you want to see that divergence, and you're seeing that. So we'll see, and if you look, yeah, we have the divergence. So the Russell looks ready to go down. The NASDAQ looks ready to fall. And again, I would call this 5. Label it conservatively, like this, something like that. And then we come back up like that, and then boom, big drop. This is kind of how I think it plays out. And then the Russell, same thing, can up, drop, ES. Right now 1, 2, indecision. It's a coin flip. YM Dow seems like it wants to go higher. I think this is too high. And I don't see a flat correction either. Perhaps we have 1, 2, 3, 4, again 5. Maybe we'll force a flat. So maybe it's something not as bearish initially. We'll do something like this, where it's something like a W. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. So come down like that, do something like that. You do something like that. And again, I'm just kind of, there's a lot, it's not a very clear structure here. I'm staying away from trading the Dow. And I'm just trading what's clear. So China broke down here undernight. That should continue lower. Bitcoin broke down. I put on my video this short area. It played out nicely. It looks like it still needs more downside, 4s and 5s. It's looking for a retest, I think, of this neck, call it support resistance area here. 24.2, 25.2, and it really needs to hold and make a new high. If it could do that, it may confirm the lows in. If it doesn't, then it could be a corrective bounce, and it's B, and we go into all new lows. And I said to be very careful in Bitcoin before we even knew about the news, and then all of a sudden news comes out about the government trying to sue Binance and press charges. And so that happened. We didn't know what that news would be. We just knew this was a time to short, and then the news came out, and down we go. Okay, oil was a surprise of the day. So my oil short right around about here, I left it for a very small profit because I anticipated this would break, and then we squeezed, and now we're testing this back, the breakdown, this line, massive line, and that's where it's stuck. It really needs to get rejected here hard. If not, and it could push back into it, then we have to go back and reassess our count. Could it be 3, or where this is, like an A, B, C, so like a W, X, Y. So it could really change things. So it's not clear count. So any short oil or energy trades, I wouldn't recommend those unless you're hoping for this massive crash, wave 3, which is still possible. And this is really the area where it would expect to happen here. So we'll see what happens. Gold, to me, was looking at gold. It looks like it needs one more swing lower to 1927 for a good dip buy. 1915, if it can make it down here. If not, it's this, and it's a 1-2, and gold will be ready to go into a 3 of 5. Then natural gas is frustrating traders. It's hit the buy area very deep, and that's this 3-wave move, although we have divergence in this wave, so we got to be careful that it doesn't make a marginal high and puke back down to try to break this lower, retest it to risk divergence. It's definitely one you should just open that position up in a couple years and see how you've done. Right now it's tough. It's deep in the bear market territory. Despair phase. The 10-year is heading lower. I think this could be risk off for the market in general. We'll see. Something like that. I do believe it's going to find support somewhere down in this area, and then it should bounce. I do think this is where we're heading. And then, of course, the 2-year, everyone's focused. I believe the A wave is in. We need a B and a C, so now we're working on the B wave. Should be very sideways and choppy. And then we'll get some kind of C wave. I don't think this is the correction, because this doesn't look 3 waves. It looks impulsive, and it should come higher, and then should drop again. And then the dollar index is kind of the key ruling the market and where we're going. It hasn't bounced yet. It's struggling to bounce. It's getting deep. Although the wave 4 is down here, typically you always correct back to the wave 4 target, which is deep here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go deeper. This could support the market, but I do think it's gonna at least get one more reaction higher for the 5 waves up, and then we'll see if we can break the downtrend and go even further than that. Okay, so the market to me is bearish. We could be having a really big move at any moment to the downside. It really can happen, any time now. So if you're in long positions or FOMOing in, or just gambling, you're in a lot of risk, because I do think when this move happens down, the market's going to open way below where your stops will be, and then it'll just continue to push lower, and people will really be hurting. That's how I think it's going to go down. So the VIX, if you look at the VIX too today, it's really in a very wedge type pattern like that. So, I mean, it could easily come out of this at any moment, with the dollar really being pushed down, and you do see some wicks here. There you go. What do they call it? The tweezer candles, kind of like that. Maybe get one more. So once the dollar turns, the market should be heading lower, and that's what I'm seeing across the market. I'll just kind of show you a couple things like in the commodities. So the NRGD is the leveraged fund. It's still respecting that low, but I was looking at NRGU, and I do want to see it at 138, but it found support on the trend, and so it looks like it will get a little bit of a relief rally here. So I think energy is going to be strong for a couple more days, but I do expect it to fail. So may come back to short it later. The technology sector, everything kind of turned down like expected. So nothing out of the ordinary. Again, a lot of FOMO in Tesla going long on the internet. Unfortunately, we're going that FOMO hasn't helped push the price higher as we continue to go lower. And pretty much, Google got really pushed down to today. So that's just like I said, we'll go through it. And financials got a bit today. Again, a lot of people just are fundamental investors, the guys you watch on TV. They're desperate for a bottom in financials because that's just a nice, safe investment area in their mind, and it's just not working out. And if you really look at where FRC is, this looks like a descending triangle that's going to break down soon. Again, this has always been our area of support if it survives, like if it could survive. Like that's where I wouldn't and I'm not short in this, but I would definitely wait. There's your triangle. Once that breaks down, and maybe $6 somewhere in there. But that's probably not. It's probably deeper. So then, let's see, BAC. Probably gonna do again. Really complicated structure. Probably gonna go higher. Again, something like that. Wells Fargo, like BAC, go a little bit higher. Schwab, they're really trying to pump this on TV. Desperate to save it, but no matter how much they pump it, they can't avoid wave 5. Wave 5 is coming. Hopefully it's just wave 5. Let's see what's in some other ones I've shown. COF. Now that one was pretty weak today. That one could be a 1-2, 1-2. That one's struggling. And let's take a look and just kind of flip through some of these others. Consumer discretionary. I'm just looking for any big movers, things that catch my attention. Mattel's a real dog. Let's wonder why that's up so much. Let's take a look. So 3 waves, connector, we broke the low. We should be heading to $10 now. So it double corrected. We really was hoping for a bottom here. If you remember, I had posted that rally. Hopefully we're able to take some profit, but now that we made a lower low, this also should tell you and give you like, hey, the market's going lower. But that was pumping. How about Hasbro? Hasbro breaks 41. That's going to be devastating. Be really careful. Again, we wanted to see it holds. It didn't. So a lot of these stocks are breaking down. I heard Wingstop got like a downgrade on TV, but I would be a dip buyer of that if we can get one more swing down at 175, 169 there. Reason I like it is we made, I think, all-time highs here, so I would long this unless we break 162. Let's go to my other list I have of stocks that I watch that I like. Not staying away from energy, even though short term it can pump. How's Deere doing? The industrial sector. I have Deere in a flat. So it's got more downside. Again, signaling the market where the market's probably headed. Boston Scientific hanging in there. Again, a lot of disbelief. A lot of people on the internet said it can't go higher, but it's still hanging in there. We'll see. I'm not long that, but I'm not long anything right now. Here's BJ's A, B. Looks like it's going to do a flat. That would be a really good dip buy if we can get back to 69. I'm not messing with miner, copper miner. Let's see. AbbVie. So AbbVie, I'm really want to see that this capitulation leg 124. What a great buy that would be if you can get that. If we can get that down here at 120, I think that's coming. Let's see. And I want to go back to healthcare. I want to look at where mRNA is. So mRNA, it's been taking a long time, but if you followed me, gave you guys opportunity to short here. So this actually looks like was the right call, the ABCDE triangle, and it's just been slow to develop, but we're getting there. And we're looking for $90, $84 when it's all said and done. So we're getting down there. And they're trying to pump Medtronic tonight. I wouldn't, nope, wouldn't touch it. How about Amgen? I heard they were trying to pump that tonight. Still got to go lower. So a lot of these stocks are not done their series. Let's see if there's any other things I want to mention. Let's look at the consumer staples. Celsius. So this is in a buy area here, if this is a right count. But with the market heading lower, I'm not taking long positions, but it could defy the market. But I did have that, but I'm not long it. But according to my system, it's a buy because it made an all-time high and pulled back against this low. But I won't take the position. I want to take a look at Costco as well. So I had this in this like A, B, C, D, E triangle finished, and 1, 2, we did not get 5. Looks like we got another 3 waves here. Yeah, another 3. So yeah, let's see. Perhaps A, B, C, D. I mean, maybe it's E like that with that's 3 waves, but I think for now, I'll just leave it the way it is. We'll see what happens, but if the triangle breaks down, the target is 325, and that would be a really good opportunity, or in this area. So that's another one. I should put that on the watch list. And some of these others, if I have PepsiCo. So PepsiCo is also another good one. 161. And okay. All right, I'm going to end the video right now. So again, market could be hanging over the edge of a cliff. If we could be at a historic moment where we could see a massive market collapse. It just is going to take the right type of news to spark the panic. I believe that news is going to come out any day now. It can even come out tomorrow, but within maybe the next couple weeks, and that should drive us down for a final push lower. The other alternative is the news is not in a couple weeks, but more toward mid-April, and we rally back up. You know, maybe we try to come back up to this area to try to retest this high, and then mid-April but no matter what happens here, we need another leg lower. We're just delaying the inevitable. But I do believe the time's running out, and I think the market's ready to move lower. So just be prepared. You know, the market is giving you time to get, you know, your life jackets, to get your protection. So you can't say you weren't warned. You can't say you didn't have time. The Fed told you what it was going to do. The banks have failed, and we know that problem really isn't solved. We know rates are not going down anytime soon. So all this bad information is known to you. So you got to do something about it. So again, denial is always the first thing people do when faced, in a crisis or faced with information that they don't want to hear. So you have to just listen. What do all the facts say? What do the technicals say? And you have to make your decision. So just keep that in mind. And even today, what I heard on TV was most of the CNBC day trader types were like buy this, buy that, buy this, but they actually brought on a lot of institutional type investors that invest money for big funds, and they were saying light in positions, sell, not interested, P's are too high. That's a first. That's big dollars. So you've got you got, I wouldn't say all the day trader commentary they bring on was saying buy. Let's say 80% of them said, but buy this, buy that. But most of the big money now is like, hey, lighten up, get ready, lean in me, or whatever. So now that's something that I don't hear very often. So at Dow, you've got the technicals lining up with fundamental investors. These are the big fundamental investors. And so now the only other fundamental investor that can overpower you are sovereign wealth funds and the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is, rates are high. Whether you think they're easing or not, the rates are high. That's going to affect the economy in a negative way. And then they're not lowering them anytime soon. And then, what are the sovereign wealth funds going to do? Well, it depends on what they need to do to bail out these banks. And the banks still are going to be under pressure. So I do think the fundamental case is lining up with the technicals. And I think once that picture becomes crystal clear to the day trade, FinTwit community out there, then everyone's going to go short and sell, just like in March 2020. And you saw what happened when everybody's on one side of the trade. On the downside, the floodgates open up, and it just unravels pretty fast. All right, guys, that's my update.